banana hammock. It's saying, can you share your story of how you guys stopped believing in Islam? How old were you? Was there a certain realization that pushed you to do it? And was your family accepting when you came out?
Oh my God, I have answered this question so many times.
But this is somebody who doesn't know, which means that
Yes,
you're going to answer it
I
again.
know, but
Quick
okay.
version.
Okay, can you? I stopped believing in Islam once I start. At first, because I started studying history, and because of I realized that religion was man-made, and then because of also studying biology, I realized that there's probably an explanation for everything that happens in nature, even if we don't know what that explanation is. Like just because our lack of understanding of how things works doesn't give us an excuse for us to come up with an explanation for it. So then I went for a hunt for the existence of for any proof or evidence for the existence of God, and I realized that there is none there. So I stopped believing in God. What was the second question? Where was
How old were you?
Started doubting at 16. I was a full-on atheist, I think, by age 18, if I remember correctly. Was there a certain realization that pushed you to do it? Again, the whole idea of looking at the evolution of religions made it very obvious. Well, it wasn't a eureka moment, but that was the moment that I realized there's something wrong here. And if these religions are man-made, why would I think that my religion is not man-made? And was your family accepting when you came out? At first, they were very accepting, because when I was religious, I was extremely religious, and I was bothering them about them not practicing, not fasting, or not praying. So when I became an atheist, their reaction was like, "Oh, thank God," because they were happy that I was not going to bother them anymore.
Thank God Armin is an atheist. Thank you, God.
Yeah. But the problem was that eventually I started talking so much about my atheism in a theocratic, like in Iran. And the reason why they were scared about that is because they thought that it's going to put me, it's going to get me killed. So they were very supportive when I wanted to leave Iran and go to Canada. But yeah, initially, not only they were supportive, they were very happy that I left my religious fundamentalism. Anyways, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, I have to do this too. So how did I'll try to make it really quick. How did I stop believing in Islam? I went through phases. Like I was first had doubts when I was like 4 or 5 years old that things didn't make sense. As I grew older, I went back and forth. I started looking at the Quran as a Quranist. I started like looking at interpreting it in a very liberal way. I basically eventually like got rid of the hadith because I couldn't reconcile that with anything. Tried very liberally interpreting the Quran. It didn't happen. I went through that phase, and at one point I just realized it was written by men, and that's the point. I was like, okay, this book is definitely written by a dude. So I that made me just get rid of Islam overall, and it pretty much made me an atheist at that point. None of the other religions seemed much better. It all just once it happens, you realize that it's all just bullshit. How old was I? I think ultimately when it finally happened, it was probably, I don't know, my 20s. I was kind of back and forth on the God thing.
Ooh, I beat you.
You did. No, I was back and forth on the God thing. I'm still like, if you say, is there a higher power? Is there a structure? Whatever, I'd say I'm sort of agnostic. But when it comes to religion and theism, like I'm like a personal God, I'm atheistic. Was my family accepting when you came? Was your family accepting when you came out? Yeah, my family was accepting. I mean, they didn't really do it. They're just like, okay, he thinks differently. But they did get annoyed because, when that first happens, then all of the religious stuff that was happening around me, I'd get really annoyed with it. I had very little tolerance for it. So I'd speak up about it a lot. And I think that got annoying for them a little bit. Aside from that, then I wrote the book.
Mine got annoyed not because of my atheism, but because they were afraid that something is going to happen to me because I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, no, mine too. There was a combination of those things. It was a combination of that, but they were also kind of getting personally annoyed. That's why I started writing, actually. It was like, instead of annoying people at parties, I'll just put it all up online.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.